with the opening of this ceremony, that's the culmination of a year of hard work, along with 7 ministries and NGOs, when we actually circulated a questionnaire for persons to have inputs as to what were their concerns or what were their inputs in terms of different sectors within the maritime of St. Lucia. And maritime is not just the maritime of SLASPA or infrastructure. It's a holistic approach that encompasses various ministries. So that is just a combination of that questionnaire and the audit today. The authority attempted to capture a wide cross-section of St. Lucia's maritime sector to represent all stakeholders in terms of the shipping interests, and also to give persons an opportunity to chat the way forward for St. Lucia's maritime sector. I think it's important that through our discussions, through our interactions with the IMO audit team, that they get a true picture as to what St. Lucia's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, almost like a SWOT analysis of the maritime sector of St. Lucia. So that opportunity will be made available, and I urge participants and various ministries to take the opportunity for us to give the IMO a holistic view of the maritime sector in St. Lucia. So I will not be long in terms of my actual welcome, but again, I want to pledge to the auditors that St. Lucia intends to fully cooperate with the audit, and we look forward again to the interactions between the auditors and other stakeholders in terms of the, showing the benefits, the obligation that St. Lucia needs to do for us to meet our IMO obligations. And again, just before I close, that audit is mandatory. Initially it was voluntary, but now it's mandatory. So all member states of the IMO, they must go through that audit. So again, welcome to our opening ceremony there. Let's have interactions, and then let's see how far we can basically bring the maritime sector of St. Lucia forward. Again, thank you for your attention.
I welcome you this morning to this very important ceremony of the IMO Member State Audit Scheme, IMSAS. Having received this new vigor and policy directive with the astute leadership of Honorable Stevenson King, we have been focused on developing our maritime sector, ensuring that shipping is safe and that everybody who's engaged in this industry can do it with a very high degree of safety. So we've been attempting to determine our status as a country, and hence Minister really, with his leadership, ensured that we got to this point. In so doing, we approached the IMO, and it has taken us some months, and I didn't even realize it took us a year. Because I had in here months, but I now realize it has taken some time for us to be here this morning to symbolize the beginning of this audit. We welcome and approve the scope of the audit, and we're looking forward to the results of this exercise. This audit will be in conformity with the framework and procedures set out in the Assembly Resolution A1067/28. This audit will be looking at about 8 instruments of the IMO, and some of them, namely the International Convention for Safety of Life at Sea, the International Convention for Prevention of Pollution, the MAPOL, the International Convention on Trade, Standards of Training, Certification, and Watchkeeping for Seafarers, STCW 1978, and many more. What I am also concerned, and we would want to some discussion, I know there are other, it speaks in the MOU or the MOC, that they will be looking at other administrative, legal, and technical areas. And we're looking forward to how we fit our jurisdiction. The organization and authority is critical to us. I am looking forward to participating in this one, to seeing the results and the recommendations coming out of this, and to ensure that we have a baseline by which we can determine where are we with regards to all of these instruments that we signed with the IMO. It's important for us as a country to know, are we in compliance? What are we requiring at this point to move forward? There have been quite a number of legislation that has been drafted, coming back and forth to my desk, to SLASPA, and going to the Director of Legislative Drafting Unit for consideration. But at this point, with all of these movements, and we cannot say at this point, where are we? While there's quite a bit of legislation to establish our maritime sector, where are we with relations to our compliance with the IMO requirements? So we welcome this, we welcome the team. We will provide you as much support as we have obligated ourselves to do as we sign off in the MOC, and we're looking forward to a very fruitful audit. I wish to thank Mr. Christopher Alexander. I think the passion he demonstrated over the months and the year to get this matter going, and we're having dialogue to try to get to this point. I think it is commendable. I need to thank you, sir, for this. I wish to welcome the audit team to St. Lucia. I do hope that you will get an opportunity after you've completed your work to see the island, for those of you who may not have been here before. If I were to embrace, and again this audit is timely, embrace the IMO's theme, as I noticed in your newsletter, and I'm hoping that I can say it's a newsletter or magazine from the IMO. The theme for 2018, IMO, and I quote, IMO 70, our heritage, better shipping for a better future. I think this came out of a statement of the IMO Secretary General, Mr. Kitak Lim, if I pronounce it correctly. So St. Lucia is looking forward to this audit. We have been waiting with bated breath. We've been engaged with other organizations discussing it. But believe you me, we'd like to move the maritime sector forward, but we need to determine where we are. We need to now inwardly look at where we are, and then we can move forward. I have no doubt that this exercise will arrive at the necessary recommendations, and I did notice that there's opportunity for capacity building for our staff and for the sector. So we're looking forward to this as well, and we're looking forward to a strengthened relationship with the IMO. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I am hoping that you will engage as much as possible and be courageous. Let's have a good conversation throughout the conduct of this audit, and that we and St. Lucia can be better for it. I thank you.
On the behalf of the IMO Secretary General, it's a great pleasure and honor for me to be here with you today on this special occasion, which is initial steps towards improving the quality and effectiveness and implementation of the IMO mandatory instrument by the state of St. Lucia. Firstly, please allow me to express my thanks and appreciation for your warm welcome, for your prompt and positive response during the preparation of this audit. My special thanks also go to Mr. Christopher Alexander, the single point of contact for this audit, for his kind assistance and patience. Thank you very much. As we are going to be working together for the next few days, please allow me to introduce myself. I am Tony Bisharawi. I work for the Government of Canada, Transport Canada Marine Safety and Security. I am the National Technical Lead of the Environmental Protection Programs. As you may already know, that the mandatory audit of all IMO member states commenced from January 1st, 2016. The aim of the mandatory audit scheme is, and still, to determine the extent of which each member state gives full and complete effect to its obligations and responsibilities contained in a number of IMO treaty instruments. The mandatory IMO instruments include the scope of the scheme over the safety of life at sea, SOLAS 1974, for those who are familiarized with this convention, prevention of pollution from ships, MARPOL, standards of training, certification, watchkeeping for seafarer, STCW 78, load line LL 66, and the protocol 1988, tonnage measurement of ships, tonnage 1969, and regulation for prevention collisions at sea, COLREG 72. Of course, it's reasonably expected that the audit scheme in general will bring about many benefits, and I want to highlight this, such as identifying where capacity building activities would have the greatest effect. Having said that, targeting of the appropriate action to improve performance would be greatly improved, hopefully. The member states themselves would receive valuable feedback, one, intend to assist them in improving their own capacity to put the applicable instruments into practice. And generic lessons learned from audits could be provided to all member states so that the benefits could be widely shared among the member states. The audit will be conducted using the agreed program dated the 6th of May 2018, and it was a final version. Some of you, probably all of you, since you are all invited, will be involved through the auditing process. And finally, I really hope that the next 5 days will be fruitful for the sake of everyone, and that by the end of this audit process, you will be in a positive to appreciate the potentials provided by IMSAS. Definitely more detailed information on the process of the audit will be covered through the introduction of the opening meeting, which will come a little bit, I think, next on the agenda. For now, until then, I really thank you very much. First, for your presence. Second, for your attention. And third, for your good cooperation, expected good cooperation down the road for the next 5 days. Thank you very much.